My name is Tim Sanford. I'm with Miami Valley Preparedness Network. We want to thank you for watching on YouTube today. We're actually offering classes the second Sunday of every month, and we're actually from 4 to 5:30. We want to thank you for attending today and hope you enjoy the show. God bless America. Long live the Republic.
A lot to deal with. How many members of Lisa Bennett from last month? Huh? Come on. Our little superstar here, she's actually going to go first. She's brought 2 different style bags. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the first one that I have out here is my level 1 bug out bag. And last time we talked about the EDCs. The EDCs is your everyday carry. Mine's about that big, and I have pretty much everything I need to get through whatever emergency comes up. This is a little more advanced. This is for up to a week. And I'll just go through it real quick. The first thing you've got to worry about is shelter. So if you're going to be stuck outdoors or even in your house and the weather's below 0, you want to make sure that you have as much between you and the environment as possible. So I just have a tarp that I can use. I also have in my EDC. Now this is in addition to my EDC. So whatever I have in my EDC would come, I would use that first and then kind of use whatever's here to kind of augment that. So,
and what EDC is everyday carry for those who don't know.
Right, and you would have things like a really good sturdy knife, maybe some matches, some wire, things like that, water filtration, little flashlight, you know, stuff like that. Just a little multi-tool that I found handy. This is my first aid kit. I have some basic medication, some ibuprofen, antidiarrheal tablets. The last thing you want is to be getting dehydrated out in wherever you are if you should run into some bad water or whatever. And just some anti-allergy tablets along with just some basic first aid supplies. Let me see if I can find it here. The one thing I do pack a lot of with me always, and I'll post the recipe again for you guys, is a hydration mix. This is very important. If you should be out in a situation, even if you have access to water, your body will lose salts that you need to keep you going. So it's very important to have adequate nutrition salts in your diet. So this will keep you hydrated, especially if you get sick. And it's really easy to make. I mean, it's just stuff that you probably already have in your kitchen cupboard, so no big deal. So anyway, but that's the basic first aid. Matches. I always keep extra matches. This is just a little waterproof container that I have to keep them in. So if everything else gets soaked, at least I know I can still start a fire. I do have one of those little magnesium strikers, the flint and steel. So, but it's always good to have matches, even if you just use it for fuel. Now this is, if you're going to be anywhere for a couple of days, you're going to end up having to use the bathroom at some point. So I keep a little mini shovel to dig a latrine.
That's cool.
And well, the nice thing about this is not only can you use it to dig your latrine, but you can also cook on it. You know, you can kind of put it over the fire. Just make sure you have something to put over the handle so you don't burn your hand. But it also makes a nice, good self-defense weapon as well. So kind of multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. Try to get things that do more than one job. Definitely.
Now, I spent a lot of time in the woods, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a former wilderness survival instructor. I'm also a practicing herbalist and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of leaves that you can use, but toilet paper is always really nice to have.
Stay away from the 3 leaves.
Yeah, leaves of 3, leave them be. Not a good. Mullein is actually the best herb to use.
Oh, really?
For restroom. Yeah, it's really soft and it goes a long way.
Nick, can you verify that?
I'll give it a shot.
So fire is important to keep warm and for cooking out in the wild. These are actually fire starters that I made from an old egg carton. It was one of the cardboard ones. I just filled it with some dryer lint and pencil shavings and whatever else I could find, and coated it in some old wax that I had from some candles that I had burned.
Now think of that, guys. You can make this yourself instead of buying the fire starters.
Yeah, I mean, these are awesome, and these will last. Yeah. I mean, these will get a really good fire going, and they'll last about an hour or more.
Tell them what's in that again.
Pencil shavings, dryer lint. I think I also put just, I don't know, crumpled up paper, shredded. I shred my documents, so sometimes I'll just take little shreds and break them up even more and kind of stuff them in there. Just whatever you have on hand that's flammable. You just stick them in there, coat them in some wax. And the nice thing about coating it in the wax is it helps keep it moisture free. So if you had it just laying out, it might get a little damp where the wax will actually kind of keep it dry, and it'll burn longer too. Now I'm new to Ohio, so the one thing I made sure I invested in when I moved out here was a good map. Because if you had to evacuate, you kind of really need to know where you're going, where the shelters are, where the important stuff is. So it's good to have a map. Even if you know your way around fairly well, there's always those back roads or other streets that in towns you may not be familiar with. You may find yourself maybe on a business trip or going to a concert or something, and on the way home something happens, the roads are closed, you got to find an alternate route. If your cell phone isn't getting signal, you still got to be able to find your way around. So I also keep a little notebook. This comes in handy for two reasons. First, if I have to map out a route, I have something to make some notes on. I like one of these little carpenter pencils. You can use a razor blade or your knife to sharpen it, so I don't have to worry about the ink freezing or whatever. The other thing this is handy for is in an emergency situation, if you're administering first aid, it's good to make notes about who has what symptoms. If somebody's been unconscious, you want to keep track of how long they've been unconscious, things of that nature, the injuries, that sort of thing. And I don't know if there's any medics here, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
A lot of time when there's different triage, they'll tag them. A lot of times they write on their foreheads. You don't want to do that. You want to leave something on top of them, leaving what you've diagnosed.
Just rip out a piece of paper with the pencil and kind of leave it on their shirt or something.
Yep.
But this is good for EMS because, you can say, well, at 2100 hours, the person lost consciousness, they were unconscious for 5 minutes. If they're awake and talking, you can write down any allergies they may have, any medications they're on. So if they do lose consciousness, at least you have that information to give to EMS when they get there to say, oh, this person is allergic to, don't give them whatever. So always a good idea to have. This is just my important documents. I keep photocopies of everything: birth certificate, social security cards, driver's license. And I had this happen to me once. I had my house burned down, and when I went to find out what was going, they wouldn't let me on the scene because they didn't know who I was. All my paperwork was in the house. So it's always good to have backup copies so that if something happens, a tornado rips through, your house burns down, there's a flood, at least you can prove who you are so you can get back to the location to salvage whatever you can.
That was the number one thing for Katrina and for Sandy, is proving who they were. They couldn't get back to their property. Think about it. What if you do have medications? What if, how many knows the scripts, if you already have your 30 days filled out and you're not finished through them, how do you get it renewed? What do you have to go through? All this information has to be on you at all times.
Yep. If you have, you should also have copies of, if you have a deed to any properties, insurance papers, tax information, all of the stuff that you would need if you literally had to start over and prove your identity, to prove to people who you were. At least you have it. And make sure you have it for all your family members too. And pets. If you have pets, dogs, cats, have their registration, have their tags, have information that you can prove, yeah, that's my dog. Because otherwise, Fido might not be going home with you. Okay, just some gloves. Flushable wipes, these are nice to keep you clean a couple days. You're going to start to feel kind of grubby. It's not as luxurious as a shower or a nice hot bath, but at least you'll be clean and not offending your neighbors.
And they do make bath towels too, like that.
They do, and
Yeah.
in fact, I have here, I also have, this is antibacterial soap. This I would use more for first aid or like if I caught small game or something to disinfect my hands. So I would use this sparingly, but this little tablet here is actually a towelette that when you wet it, it opens up into
That's awesome.
a towel. So that's kind of cool. All right, so let's see what else. More toilet paper. Candle, these are great for kind of illuminating things if you can't find the flashlight, but also for starting fires and repairing your gear. In my EDC, I actually keep a couple of hot glue sticks, but candle wax also is waterproof. So if you really run into a serious situation, you can always use this to kind of repair a hole or whatever. So
Okay, now, I do want to tell you this, we are talking very fast, and I see notes, and that's awesome. I'm going to make her write this down so we can put it on
I will write it
Facebook and also me. So I know we're limited on time, so that's why we're going through this a little bit fast, but we're going to try to, we're not going to try, we're going to definitely do this, okay? So that way you guys are not speed writing and everything else. Please, go ahead.
okay. Couple of things, mosquito netting. If you've ever been stranded near a swamp or near a river in the summertime, you know how horrible mosquitoes are, and if you don't have insect repellent, believe me, you're going to want this.
Yes.
I always keep in my level 2 a change of clothes. I always have a long sleeve shirt and long pants with me for that reason. This goes over your head though, so at least you can sleep without mosquitoes crawling in your nose and up. Yeah, it's just not fun, trust me. But you can also use this to filter your water too.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I like about it. You just kind of put the water through there and just kind of let it leak into whatever receptacle you have, a cup or whatever, and this will get rid of all the larger debris, so kind of handy to have. This I got at a dollar store. It's just one of those charcoal lights, but you can cook a couple meals on it. And it gets pretty hot, so you could either use it for warmth or to cook on. Water filtration is a really important thing, like Brian was saying. It's so important to have good, clean water. I don't have one of those fancy bottles, but what I do have, and I will get one eventually, just because I think they're really cool. But what I do have is some playground sand. This is clean. And you can actually sterilize it, and the easiest way to do it is to put this in a shadow metal baking pan, put it in your oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes, and it will sterilize it. This is activated charcoal. You can get this at any aquarium supply place. I think Myers and Walmart even carry it. Well, what you do is you can take the bag. I always carry extra Ziploc bags with me for a couple of reasons. But in a pinch, if you don't have anything else to layer it in, you can put it in layers in the bag, right? Do a little bit charcoal, sand, cut just a teeny tiny little piece off the bottom, the corner of the bag, pour the water in and just hold it over your cup, and it will filter through the water and into your cup, and now you've got clean drinking water. So
Awesome.
if you're in an area where you know the bacteria count is kind of high, I would still boil it, but I'm kind of really picky about stuff like that. You just cannot be too careful with water.
Yeah.
Giardia, believe me, it's it's a nightmare, and if you're in a survival situation, it can kill you. So,
Tell me what Giardia is.
Giardia is a bacteria that grows in water that's stagnant or that has been sitting for too long. And it will cause it'll feel like food poisoning. You'll vomit, you'll have diarrhea, you'll run a fever, but you will dehydrate very quickly because believe me, if you get Giardia, if anybody's ever had it, it literally, you're just both ends. It's horrible.
Fire sale. There you
Yes. It's probably one of the most unpleasant experiences you will ever have. And there are other types of bacteria that live in water too, including salmonella. People think you just get salmonella from raw chicken. It can actually survive in water, depending on where you are, as well as other types of bacteria. So it's really important to be safe with your water, because again, dehydration will kill you. So, okay. If you're going to be out for a few days, I always have a few snacks, some granola bars, some oatmeal, just kind of high carb stuff. I do keep a couple of cans. This one's tuna, and this one looks like roast beef.
Tuna.
But when you're hungry, it actually tastes really good.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
The only drawback to keeping this in your bug out bag is that if you're in a cold weather situation, like if you were to have to be outdoors for any length of time now, it can freeze. Ideally, you'd like to carry something like peanut butter or something that isn't going to freeze solid that you could still eat. Some beef jerky is another really good idea. And the nice thing about beef jerky is that it has salt. And the one thing that you are very hard pressed to find in nature is salt. So it's important to have that with you. Okay, so you're going to be stuck, even if you're in an urban environment, you're going to want to eventually have some fresh food. If you have to trap small animals, it's good to have some wire to set a snare. I prefer, we were talking about this earlier, I prefer either pit traps or box traps. Box traps is kind of when you get a box of some kind and you kind of prop it up. with a little trigger so that when an animal goes in, the box falls down and traps the animal inside. A pit trap is basically you dig a big hole and you put some bait in there and you kind of cover it over very lightly with some leaves and small twigs so that when an animal steps on it, they fall in and get trapped. The reason I prefer either of those as opposed to a snare, first of all, your game is always live. And if you're squeamish about killing it, trust me, you'll get over it. When you're hungry enough, you'll get over it.
I love it.
But with a snare, sometimes the snare can actually injure the animal and cause it to bleed out. And if you go back 12 hours or 18 hours later, you don't know how long the animal's been dead. Now you're running into meat that could be contaminated or draw other larger animals like bobcats or mountain lion or whatever. I don't know if you guys have any out here, but you don't want to be attracting larger predators to an area where you are and then have to defend yourself. So you want to catch your game, get it live, and get out. Okay, so the best way, and if any of you guys hunt, you probably already know this, but for those of you who don't, bay leaves are the most awesome thing you could have with you. One of the biggest deterrent to catching animals of any kind is your scent. And a lot of hunters now, they actually sell de-scent stuff that you can wash your clothes with that'll mask your scent. But if you don't, obviously if you're in a survival situation, you might not have access to that and you're not going to have time to go wash your clothes. So bay leaves are an old New England trick. The hunters used to just take the bay leaves, kind of crush them up and rub them all over their clothes. And what it does is it masks your scent just like the stuff you buy in the store.
Wow.
So carry a few bay leaves with you and it'll...
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're actually really easy to grow. And I'm pretty sure they would grow quite well out here as long as you have an area that gets regular water.
Now, how are they on climates as far as that, just regular growing season or?
Yep,
Okay.
they grow just like any other deciduous, or not deciduous, coniferous little shrub. They turn pretty color red in the fall and the leaves fall off. But, you know, in the spring and summer, they're available fresh. And believe me, the fresh bay leaves are so much better than the store-bought. They smell completely different. You'd never know that it was the same thing.
Also,
Okay.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Also, too, with the bay leaves, guys, think of this. You're doing landscaping. Gus, where you at, buddy? Gus is one of our landscapers here, okay? Think about this. Instead of just putting a shrub in your yard, why not do something that's edible? Why not do something that's more, that does double duty, that's beautiful? Like she said, they turn red, things like this.
Really pretty.
Think about this before you start landscaping your houses, especially if you're living in urban environments. Because a lot of them do not let you have gardens, so-called gardens. But you can have tomatoes in pots, things like that. I know this is kind of off the wall, but think about this when you're landscaping, how to replant, do something that you can use. Not just looks beautiful either.
Speaking of landscaping, if you're looking for good home defense, there are some plants that you can grow beneath your windows that will deter pretty much anybody who's trying to get into your home. Stinging nettles, I don't know if anybody has, you're laughing, you probably know what I'm talking about. They are amazing self-defense weapons.
They're stinging what?
Stinging nettles.
Nettles.
They're also edible and extremely high in vitamins once you boil them. So not only are they great for defense, but they are also an amazing survival food as well. So plant them all around the perimeter of your home, and trust me, nobody will ever try and get in your house again, unless because they hurt really bad. Okay, so I know we talked about using a tampon to stop bleeding and wounds last time, as well as filtering your water, but there's another use for these. And if you've ever gone hunting, you know, especially for deer, I don't know how many of you hunt deer. Have ever been? Okay,
4 or 5
so you know when you're tracking, say a buck, they leave that nice little stamp, you know, where they do their rub and they leave that nice little stamp. Well, you take a tampon and you rub it in that stamp. And what happens is the deers leave their scent. They mark their territory. So you rub the tampon in where their stamp is and where they've rubbed on the trees, and then you then go to another deer's turf and hang the tampon in the tree or a bush where they are. And what'll happen is the buck whose area that is going to get really pissed off. And he's going to be like, hey, there's somebody here that doesn't belong here. And he's going to come out looking to see who that is. And then you'll have your chance to get dinner.
There you go. Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
like, you never knew that a tampon could have so many uses, but I've used this trick before, and it works.
Tampax, eat your heart out.
quite a few deer that way, so.
That's awesome.
Another thing you could do, if you have an old film canister, is fill the film canister with some dough estrus. You can buy it, at any sporting goods store. Soak the tampon in it and hang the dough estrus from the bush and just wait for, Mr. Buck to show up. So, a couple little tricks I've learned being a girl. Okay, and last but not least, most importantly, my metal cup. I always tell people, if you should be able to have a really good rescue you. Fishing kit, this is another one of those. I actually got these from Oriental Trading. I think they were, back when I got them, 25 cents a piece.
Wow.
But I actually have some fishing lures and some hooks and some fishing line all rolled up inside there. So if I had to go catch a fish, I could.
And it's pretty.
So, and that's pretty much it for this bag.
Why don't you go ahead and I'll talk about this and you'll get your other stuff ready then.
Perfect.
Mine actually, now how many remember the go bag we talked about last month? Okay. This is what we showed, something basic. Now I had somebody write me on Facebook. He says, boy, it's amazing. The little girl only had something this big and the big guy pulls out a 20-pound bag. I'm a big guy, come on, all right? She's look at us, no. But it was funny. But yeah, this is the go bag. Now, I will tell you this. Really, the bug out bag, in my perspective, you guys may have a different look at it, should be one of either in the middle of your preparedness plan or at the end of your preparedness plan. I think the go bag should be up front. The reason being is there's more to happen up front from you going to work or coming around somewhere locally that you'll need that. Like I've said this before, it's going to take a lot for me to bug out of my location. If you're going to come, you better come bearing. That's all I got to say. Okay, for me to leave my whole storehouse and what I've got and what you all have, it's going to take a lot to move me, but it is good to have. So on that perspective, I had a lot of guys ask me questions. That's why I did this up front, because I was going to throw it on the back, but they were antsy for it, so not a problem. But yes, if you're looking, you should be working on your water storage, your food storage, all this stuff first before you're thinking about a bug out bag. Okay, now, if you've got that stuff going, boom, go after it. There's quite a few in here do. But if you are just starting out, and I meant to mention this earlier, you've got your papers there. We're actually on a year preparedness plan. If you started back in January, you can catch up, no problem. Or it can go a little longer. But the year preparedness plan will get you on the path to preparedness. We've given out flyers for every meeting. You can go onto our website, MiamiValleyPreparednessNetwork.com. Go on there and you can download these. Now I do have to tell you, we are not going to be printing anymore. You guys will have to go on. We're going to have these online so you can print them off yourself. The reason is because of cost. Okay? So we will have this available. We did this for the last time here. Now I will have very few available for first-time visitors who do not know, definitely. But guys, you'll have to go online to print them off, okay? So just getting to the bag, she went through a lot of stuff that I have. We have a lot of similar things. One of the cool stuff that I like, the difference is you don't have a metal container or metal cup. These are really cool. Sea to Summit, this is a cup. Very, very small. It can hold hot beverages and cold beverages. You won't feel it. They've got plates, bowls. I love the bottom of them because they have a cutting edge. So if you cut them, just like a cutting board, it won't hurt them. So this is something you need to look at. Very compact. Now you don't have to get the fluorescent green. They've got blue. For guys, they have black. Ladies, they got hot pink. Okay, if you like hot pink. But these are very nice. You're looking for weight. Think about this. Everything you put in this bag, you've got to be conscious about your weight. All right? These are actually titanium. They're almost indestructible. They were a little bit pricier, but they're well worth it. They weigh nothing. Okay? Instead of carrying around, now I remember, and the Army ones are good. They just weigh. You got to be conscious of your weight. This is from camping. All right? These are from actually brought. How many knows the government usually invents it and then we better it, right? Okay? Like the Alice packs and all this kind of, it usually comes out of the government because they spend billions of dollars for these things and then we improve on it. So these are very well. Some of the cooking utensils. I love the Kelly kettle. How many's heard of the Kelly kettle? Get online. The Kelly kettle is really good. Mike, what you carry some cooking ones, or which ones do you carry? Yep. Okay. What Mike was talking about, and to our viewers too, Mike can get anything you want in this stuff. You just tell him. He's got multiple vendors, same as John, I'm sure Aaron, things like this. So if you see something that you like, maybe one a little different, ask them. Tell them, say, hey, he showed something here. Do you have something comparable or whatever? He was checking out my stuff saying, hey, I can get this, I can get that. So please check out these guys because they'll be able to get everything for you and at our price. So I love this. This is from my camping days too. This is a really neat gadget. This is actually a stove. Okay? Now it can take two different types of fuel. You can actually take, I forget the name of this one. Yeah, jet boil. It can actually take this type of fuel here. It will, light it up quick. This actually screws on here. The great thing about this is it has different tips. I have a red bottle that come with this, and I didn't bring it with me. You can put gasoline, kerosene, multiple different fuels, especially for urban environments. This can run off of, and you can cook. So if you run out of this, you have the availability to empty a gas tank, something like that. This thing will cook it. So I love this, especially for camping. It's very small, pretty lightweight, and you're going to need some kind of metal canister. We've got millions of them around, different styles. I like these because they all fit. They all fit in one thing, and there's maybe a little too many. Maybe you only need one pot, but I love it because you can actually, they have no handles because they wanted to be able to put it all together. But this right here, that's how you hold it. Real simple. So these are great for cooking. I've got a frying pan, multiple ones, and these are how you can heat it. Like she was talking about, Lisa was talking about the cup. I love this because it's very compact, it fits in a little bag, real easy. Now, you want to put something inside to keep you down, keep your sound down, as far as that's concerned. So if you've got loose stuff in there, put some kind of foam, something you can use. There. That was my cooking utensils. Now the Kelly kettle does really well. He's talking about the military ones. There's multiple things out there, guys. You just don't have to settle. You may have, who was telling me a few minutes ago, they found a bunch of stuff in their closet, down in their basement, old military stuff. Guys, you can use anything here. Just want to make sure it does work properly. All right? Some of the food. Now, this is a big, big controversy. All the different types of food out there. Okay? This is Mountain House. I love Mountain House. I've tried all the others. I've tried Go Foods. I've tried Wise Foods, and then I can't remember some. There's a plethora of them out there. Don't get me wrong, they all have their purpose, but I found that Mountain House was some of the best tasting. We've talked about that earlier. Some of the best tasting stuff, and I like it because they actually rate it for what it is. They only give you 10 years on this, where Wise and the others say 30 years. Guess what? They ain't been in business for 30 years. These guys have. They know. So I'm not saying, please, I'm not trying to be derogatory towards them, but they make their stuff. I just found personally that I found Mountain House to be a little bit better tasting, things like that. This is freeze dried. All you do is boil your water, put this in there, swells up, you can eat it. It's real simple. She talked about beef jerky. Man, you can go down to Sam's Club, buy it by the case. And it'll last a long time. But the thing is, whatever's in your bag, if it is perishable, you want to rotate this stuff. Okay? Have a camp out with the kids. Take a tent out in the backyard and cook this stuff in 6 months or a year or whatever. Or eat your beef jerky. Take it out there. You want to replenish it. I recommend have a routine of when you change your, what are they called? Fire detector or smoke detectors. When you change your smoke detector every year, put this on your list to go through your go bag or your bug out bags and to clean out the old stuff. Eat them. Don't let it go to waste. That's ridiculous. So put that on your list. These are, talk about hydration, all right? You all seen the demonstration of the Berkey. I swear by the Berkey. That sounds like a cult, doesn't it? I swear by the Berkey. But I just got all my grandsons this. It's funny. As soon as they grabbed it, they ran for the faucet and they're like, wow, where can we go else? My daughter looks at me and says, Dad, I better not see them in a mud puddle. Okay? These guys are loving these things. So they're really great. I just found out that having a regular style sports bottle in your car with water in it can actually get BPA and it poison you. I didn't realize that. These here, these here you don't have to carry the water in them. You get the water from wherever you came, but I believe the plastic's made different, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it's not plastic, this is KBD right now.
Right, but it's different. You won't get the BPA from this. They're very special. So that's something you don't have to worry about. But you don't even have to carry water in it. What I do, and Mike has these available, is these are water packets. Okay? These will last 5 years in your car. All right? After that, like I said, you want to use juice packs for the kids, go to the ball game, get them out. But these are great to start off with. Then when you hit a creek, something like that, start off with this, then go with this. But these are great for small, for hydration packs. I was just given this. I have another whistle, but I love this one. I'm not going to blow your eardrums out. Mitch just got this for me. This is an incredible little whistle. It's got a compass on it. You've actually got a temperature here. And this thing is so loud, it made my ears ring. It is so loud. Okay, if you want to test it, we'll take you outside. You can test it outside. Some comfort stuff. My better half, Kathy, loves tea. I like tea too, but I like it hot. She loves tea. I like hot chocolate. So some comfort, okay? It's not very weighty, something you do. Of course, I don't read the moss on the trees, so I have to carry a compass. Yeah, I got yelled at that one for two. I should say, and water treatment. One thing that I loved what she did, and I'm putting them all in my bags, is how remembers the little vial of bleach that she had. That was awesome to me. We're spending all this money for tablets, which tablets are good, and this is awesome too. But bleach, just carry a little bottle in your bag, and to disinfect this water, because that 1%, even though the Berkey is up to 99.9, what about that 1%? What about that point whatever? You can kill it first, and then the Berkey will take the taste out totally. It makes sense, and it's very, very cheap. There it is. So, I mean, it made so much sense to me. We're looking here, then for medical. These, you guys seen this, tourniquets, all this kind of stuff. These guys have it. This is where I got it. I told you I got half my stuff from these guys. I trust them. They've got the MOLLE strapping, so you can actually feed it on the outside of the bag. So it's something that'll hang on the outside of your backpack. This is actually a more advanced. This is a lighter version. I actually started carrying this in my go bag. It's just a little different. You've got a gauze, some Band-Aids, things like that. So it's just a little bit less. The other one's more advanced, where you've got your Israeli tourniquet, things like this. We're going to actually do this. We're going to have a class. I'm working on the schedule now. Yes, I promised it last month, but been too busy. Where we're actually going to have outside classes of training for this. We have, we have multiple people here with RNs, survival, things like this, that have been trained. We actually have a CPR certifications here too. Our sergeant here, he actually can do that. That's a lengthy course, but if you don't want the authenticity or the certificate of that, then we can actually do it to where you know it and it's done. So we can do that later on. We're actually going to promote that. This is something that I just got. I will put it in. It's actually a surgical kit. I heard her breathing. Like that. He's got something I don't. Can you believe it? And it cost me something.
That is really cool.
It is. It's really neat. You can get these from Mike. You got a little light here, scalpel, everything else. Can you see it there, guys? They told me to hold stuff up better. So, but it's very nice, very simplistic, but it's great. Then we've got, this is what I had in my go bag also, just little Band-Aids, things like that. Something very similar to Johnson & Johnson. You get them real cheap as far as that. TP, come on guys, you cannot live without this. Well, you can, but it's going to be rough living.
Unless you find some mullen.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell it anyways. I call this John Wayne. You know why they call it John Wayne? A guy come into Kroger's one day and he come in looking around. He says, "Can I help you?" The manager comes out and says, "Can I help you, sir?" He says, "I'm looking for some toilet paper." And he says, "Toilet paper?" He says, "Yeah, I want some toilet paper." He says, "What kind you have?" He said, "Well, we have Cottonelle, we have Charmin, everything." He said, "We have this generic stuff." He said, "Generic stuff? What is that?" He said, "Well, it's real cheap, does the same job." He said, he takes it home. He comes back a month later. Guy asks him, says, Sir, he's seen him in there, says, "Sir," he says, "how'd you like that toilet paper?" He says, "I got 2 words for you. John Wayne." He said, "John Wayne?" He said, "Yeah, it's rough and tough and don't take no crap off nobody." take that and put that feather in your cap. All right, sewing kit. Not that I know how to sew, but I know who does. Paracord. This stuff, there's so many uses. I forget how many strands. I think it's either 5 or 10. I think 7. Is there 7? 7 strands you can use. If you peel it apart, you can use it to fish with and things like that. Multiple use. I had a lady tell me, well, I need all that stuff, but I really don't need that paracord. I said, oh, let me tell you what you can do with paracord. If you'll get on, you'll have to help me out here. The name of the site from Kentucky. Depot, what is it? Dan's Depot. They have got a video, the 100 ways how to use paracord. Now it is comical, they've got some crazy stuff on there, but a lot of it is very usable. Get on there and check it out, Dan's Depot. 100 ways to use paracord. Okay, how many have started saving this? Dryer lint. Yeah, I've gotten emails about it. Hey man, I got my dryer lint bag now. Mitch says he has a big bag. I love it. I love it. Save your dryer lint. Back again, we went through all the fire starting. Guys, carry a lighter wherever you go. I carried on me. Something small. I mean, it doesn't have to be much. This is one of the greatest ones I love. It's actually waterproof. It's called Ultimate Survival, and it'll melt anything. The only disadvantage is if this gets cold, it will not ignite. So you'd have to hold it in, take off your gloves, hold it in, 0-degree weather, where the other ones would light up. That's the only drawback. Each one has their drawbacks. So know your equipment. Know what you're using. I've got some just basic hygiene because, like you were saying, Lisa, you get out there and if you're by yourself or with somebody else, come on, just the littlest thing is going to make you feel so much better. All right. They talked about, I've got here gel. There's my free dental floss, which has many applications, toothbrush, things like that. They have bath wipes, and sometimes we even have a no rinse bath in a bottle that actually you can just wipe down too and don't have to rinse or anything like that. The only problem is you have to worry about your weight, so be conscious of that. Where wipes, you may not be able to take the whole bag because they do get heavy, so watch your weight on those. Duct tape, the MacGyver tool of ever. This is a lifesaver, okay? Now, I know how to tie knots. My grandson, we've been working together on different knots, which are great. But for quickness, let's say you're on the run, there's nothing like a zip tie. Guys, go down to Harbor Freight, get them dirt cheap. You can get them by the thousands for like $5. All different sizes. So go down, get them there. Then we've got, well, we've already done this. I like a glow stick just because if there's a hole, something like that, you can throw it down, be able to see into something instead of walking in yourself, trying to feed a bear or anything like that. You can walk in, throw them in. These are real cheap, dollar store, I believe. We love the dollar store, don't we, girl?
Yes, we do.
This is the knife I showed last. This is a smaller knife. There are so many types of knives out there, guys. You've got SOG. I'm sure y'all could throw out different names. Do what's right for you, okay? Don't just take the person on the internet's word for this. Do what's right for you, what feels right. Like this one here, I love this for my EDC. You've got Smith & Wesson. He's got 20 on him, so don't even. But no, I'm just talking about the Smith & Wesson he pulled out today. So there's tons of different ones. The only thing you want to look out for is full tang, and what that is inside here, and I think I explained this last month, but any knife you buy, you want the metal from the blade going all the way through your handle. That's called full tang. If it only comes to here, it's going to break on you. If you get a chance, go to coldsteel.com. Look at what these guys put these knives through. They put them in a vise, they try to break them, and they're not the only ones out. I'm just saying they've actually showed their testing on it. Really incredible stuff. So look for your knife. This is a small one. This could actually do fine detail work. Where a bigger one, if you had like Aaron has over here, he's got machetes, he's got things like that. You've got, just like I said, a plethora of different things. Yeah, I mean, there's the Rambo. Okay, there you go. You want to saw down, what's that? Oh, okay. If you want to saw down the tree, there you go. But it's really up to you. We're not trying to push one brand. I mean, I have my own personal favorite. Tops makes a great, thousands of knives, but each one's for a different occasion. You're going to want to think, too, for skinning. You're going to look at that, so your smaller knives, what you can use for skinning, but then also too for lopping and chopping. And what that is for doing woodwork, cutting logs, things like that. This is a great tool. Now how many has a hatchet at home? Okay, try carrying that around for 3 days.
Carry around with you?
In the car.
In the car, yeah, that's
No problem. But to carry around with you, yes, you better hide it. Okay? But if the crap hits the fan, every man for himself. But no, this thing here can do anything as far as fine detail work, chopping down. You've got a full swing. Also, too, climbing. We had talked about that. We discussed it for climbing, putting in, if you have to get up. Ice, things like this. There's multiple uses for this. But what I love is it's very lightweight. And also, too, it can be a defensive weapon or an offensive weapon. So, which Shooter's Paradise will train you how to use on, okay? So there's multiple things for this. I think this is one of the best ways because having an axe or whatever, carrying it around with you. Now, if you have an axe and you're splitting big wood, that's great. You better have a vehicle to carry it. But if you're on your own, this is something small, very, very easy. The MacGyver tool of the world, trash bag. Multiple things. You gotta have them, guys. They're very cheap. Don't buy the little white baggies. Buy the big, what are they, 30 gallon, whatever, 30,
this is 50.
55, yeah, 55. Yes, sir.
Walmart carries the hefty 55-gallon contractor bags, 18 in a box for like $9.
Walmart, 18 bucks for, how much?
18 in them.
Oh, 18,
18 of them are 55-gallon drums.
and for how much?
$9.
Okay, 18 of them for $9 at Walmart. Also, too, you may want to check Sam's Club, because I know they have industrial out there. If you've got a Sam's Club card, check the prices on that. This has so many different applications. Let's say number one, for the grandkids, you need a rain jacket. Cut some holes out, perfect for them. May not look pretty, but it'll be fine for you too. Also, too, water, carrying water. You could do it. It's going to be a little difficult because it is thinner. No, you're fine. You can speak up. A little thinner, but you can do it. There's multiple uses for this, okay? Retrieving everything. So this is great. What's that?
Solar still.
Solar still.
Browse bag.
There you go. What's that?
Penny bag.
Yep. We got all kinds of, there's just, if you just Google trash bag and what you can do with it, I'm telling you, it's unlimited. So then also too, I've got actually 2 flashlights in my kit. This is one of John's. I love these. Guys, you just can't beat these lights. You can buy a cheaper light, but I'm very honest. You want something that's going to last, you got it. You get what you pay for. Honestly, I know it's a little expensive. Use the piece of junk you got right now until you can afford one of these. Don't go out and just buy one. I know I've tried them. I went out, and don't get me wrong, I love Harbor Freight, but a lot of the stuff, you get what you pay for. These little lights and stuff like this, LEDs, they don't shine worth nothing. They don't last. Save your money and get this. I'm telling you, these are well worth it. They're worth their weight in gold. And they can be used as a weapon too. So I love the strobe. I love shining it at my wife in the middle of the night. As she yells at me through the hallway. No, but they're awesome.
Hope you don't find your hatchet.
Hope she don't. Folks on the internet said, hope she doesn't find your hatchet. You're right. No, she actually has full weaponry on her side of the bed. So, I still could not run it. This is a lifesaver. I'm telling you, this is a basic Energizer light. Now, they do make some with more lumens. John can help you with this. But this thing, especially at night when you're doing your campsite, you're trying to move around. I like this because it has a red light that's not going to shine very bright, just for you to do small stuff. And then if you want to go, boom, 3, then it goes to middle, and then you got all 5 fully. It's awesome. So, and especially when you're in a tent and you don't want to light it up, the red one comes up fine. You can hang it from the top, and it just lights up enough for you, and nobody can see in the tent. And both hands
Yes.
free, that's right.
Which comes in handy for first aid and
Yes, anything, defending yourself, anything. First aid,
You can use that red light for hunting also.
what's that?
Hunting.
For
Yeah.
hunting?
Yep.
Yeah, for hunting.
Okay, fishing.
Fishing, there you go.
For, night fishing where you don't want to use campfire for
Yep.
light. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
there you go. For fishing, hunting, things like this, you're not wanting to give your position away. So this is very, very handy. Bye, guys.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Also, these little lights here,
Mm-hmm.
they're really cheap, but they actually clip right on your head.
Bring it up here, let me see it.
Nice.
It's got a carabiner on it, you can clip it on your pouch.
Come on up here so they can hear you too.
Well, it's just a dinky little tool. It just lights up, and you can clip it on your hat.
Show them up there.
Just clips on your hat.
There you go, guys.
It's free.
Something simple. Where'd you get it at?
I think I got this at a GE conference. Free.
I'm sure they got tons of them free.
Free.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's all kinds of little gadgets. I actually, when I bought some lights from my grandsons, they came with a little clip-on for their little bill cap too, and it's a little LED sight. These are, I can't say enough, multi-tool. We already talked about that with Lisa's. Extra batteries. Now, guys, I don't have, I'm getting ready to buy a little solar panel that I actually recharge for rechargeable batteries. That'd be great to have in your pack. Harbor Freight has them, multiple things like that. I remember the poncho I showed you last month, okay? Guys, an Army poncho does a great job. It's all got grommets on it. It's a poncho that goes over top of you. I see head shaking though, so I'm going to show. It actually will, this is my homemade handy dandy wrap. Velcro, best thing in the world. But this thing here, it's a military poncho. They call it woodland camo because of Vietnam, things like that. They used it a lot, the style. The regular just poncho, it has buttons on it, snaps, and it has grommets. You can actually make a small little tent out of this over top of you. Close this up. Lisa showed us. Pull this tight, take a rubber band, tighten it up. You can actually sleep under it at night. Tie one end to the tree with your paracord. Take 2 sticks, stake them down. You have a slight tent there to give you at least cover for the night. It's real simple. Now there's all kinds of stuff out there to do this with. I just picked this because it had multiple uses. I love this because I'm a delivery driver, and outside these make great things to have. So they're really good. They, like I said, they'll repel rain. They don't breathe, and it has what you call, what is the stitching now? I can't believe this. The rip stop, yes. How can I forget? It has rip stop, so if you get a rip in it, it stops at that square. So that way it'll keep running, all right? And then you can plug it up with duct tape. Duct tape, MacGyver. Love this. Bandana, real simple. Okay, something about the Berkey. If you don't want to clog your filter up too fast, when you go in to take your water in, put this over the top, just like you were talking about, to filter out the big stuff. Put it in there, you can drop it down. How many knows what the best water source is? Running water. Over rocks. Running water over rocks. It's the best water source you can get. If you have to go to a puddle, you'll want to do this because you want to keep that filter as clean as you can to get all the other little stuff out. So this is one way to use it. Also, too, bandana. There's multiple ways. Sling, we talked about it last month. Also, too, I love these. And I know it sounded like we're a product, but we're just showing you what's inside of these. This here, if I can get my homemade. This is awesome for a face mask. Also, too, you can use it as a sling very easily. Things like this. Filter water. What's that? Yep, kerchief. A big kerchief. But a lot of the guys will use them. They'll wet them, put them around because they're wearing uniforms. A lot of our military use them. They'll wet them to keep them cool in the summer. Things like that. Guys, there's a lot of stuff here. Also, too, you've got to have some kind of hat protection. I know, especially since my hair since the last time you see me. But it's going to make a world of difference because sunstroke is bad on you. So, guys, check that out. There's all kinds of stuff here. Now I'm going to let Lisa go into hers.
Okay. So I guess we'll start with the clothing then. In the summertime, you always want to have, well, this is my level 2. We'll start there. This goes, it's an addition to my bug out bag. This will get me through a situation that's going to last for a week or more. So I already have, the supplies here to get me through up to a week. Well, this is if it goes beyond that. You always want to have at least one change of clothes, because if your clothes get wet, especially if you're outdoors in the winter, hypothermia is a real killer. So you want to have a nice change of clothes. But what I did was I chose clothing that was versatile for both winter and summer. In the summertime, if you're going to be, say that the temperature is 100 degrees, and you're trapped outdoors for any length of time, heat stroke, like he was saying, is potentially deadly. So you want to keep as much moisture on your skin as possible to help your body stay hydrated. A long sleeve, light cotton, light colored shirt is actually the best to wear. People think when it's 100 degrees, all you want to strip down and get rid of as much clothing as possible. You want that layer of clothing to not only protect you from the sun, but to keep that moisture on your skin so that you're not dehydrating very rapidly. So I just have this one. It's just an old jersey that I have, but it's lightweight, it's cotton, and it's super comfy. So that's why I have that. But that's also nice for the winter because the long sleeves in layers will keep you warm. Cargo pants with the zipper they turn into shorts. These are awesome. They also roll up at the knee. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but I actually sewed a bunch of hidden pockets all over the pants from the ankle all the way up to the waist. And the reason for that is if I had to drop a bag and go, at least I have a bunch of stuff on me and I don't have to worry about carrying it on my back or, whatever. So these are really awesome, handy to have. Okay. I also have a lightweight jacket for, again, extra layers as well as some thermal as well. So staying warm, staying cool, really important. First aid, this is my surgical. These are actually containers from, the Crystal Light things. I just saved the containers because they're awesome. And I have in here it's basically a surgical kit. I have everything from suture kit, tourniquet, scalpels. I've got hemostats, emergency scissors, gauze, hydration mix, pretty much everything you would need to fix fairly minor wounds. Okay, latex gloves. I cannot brag about these enough. Especially if you're in a real serious situation, if you have, and I hate to say this, but God forbid, if you have people who are dying or who have already died, you need to remove the bodies because, well, for sanitation reasons. You don't want to be handling fluids and whatever, and sometimes the nitrile gloves, sadly, are not enough. So you always want to have a pair of real heavy-duty latex gloves just in case. It's also good if you go hunting, you get a deer, you're going to have to gut the deer, which means reaching into the abdominal cavity, and so you want to have something to kind of protect your hands as well. So these come in handy for a lot of different reasons. You can also use them, believe it or not, for water filtration. You cut one of the fingers off, layer your sand and charcoal, and you've got a nice little handy filter. So
Just like milking a cow.
Exactly. I mean,
And she was talking about nitrile.
Improvise is the big thing.
Lisa was talking about nitrile. How many materials of gloves are made out of? You have latex, you have vinyl, and you have nitrile. A lot of people are allergic to latex. And that's why we say use nitrile. Because it's neutral, you won't have the reaction on their skin. So be careful when you put your gloves in.
The gloves that I have in here are the nitrile, and I just like them a lot better. They're softer, they're easier to work with. The latex glove tend to be a little stiff. Anybody who's ever worn, you guys know, they're just, ugh, I don't like them. But anyway, plastic sheeting, this can be used for a lot of different things. Everything, kind of like your trash bags, but it can also be used for shelter, just for all kinds of stuff. It can also be used as a barrier on the ground for sleeping. I don't know if you guys have ever had to sleep on open ground, but at night what happens is the condensation gets underneath you and you feel cold. So to have something that's waterproof between you and the ground will actually help keep you a lot warmer. So this is always a good thing to have. Because this is for a week or more, I stocked up on matches and fire starters. You want to keep a fire going. The other thing I invested in, believe it or not, is just ground to air code sheet and body signals. If you don't know these, I strongly suggest you learn them. You never know what kind of situation you're going to be in, and if you're in a rescue situation where you're trying to have people rescue you, knowing these signals can really help them get to you quicker. So
I'm over here.
Well, yeah, but there are other codes, like if you're on the side of a mountain.
Wrong signal.
Oh, am I warning them off? Is that what it is?
You are.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
But there are some that, yes, that's the standard pick me up. But if you don't want them picking you up,
Sure.
say you have somebody, 5 yards away who is severely injured, you need medical help. You don't want the chopper landing trying to get you when the person over here really needs it more than you do. So there are some, signals
awesome.
for that to tell them, hey, over there, medical emergency, get over there. So
And where can we get that at?
this, I forget where I got. I think it was the SAS Survival Handbook.
Okay.
I just photocopied it
There we
and
go.
keep it in there.
It's in the books.
Yes.
One of those collapsible backpacks. It opens up into a nice day pack. And the reason I carry this is because if you have to set up camp, you're in a situation, say, a tornado ripped through, you've got your improvised shelter, you're using your supplies, but you have to leave for whatever reason. Say there's a sudden gas leak or whatever, you have to evacuate. You don't have time to necessarily break down your whole camp, take it with you. At least you have an empty pack that you can just grab the most essential items and hoof it out of there. So these are always kind of cool to have. All right, now you guys are going to laugh, but this is actually a t-shirt bag. I took an old t-shirt, I cut the neck out, the sleeves out,
girl can
and
make
just
anything.
sewed across the bottom. The nice thing about this, I actually have all my food in here. I have a handy little MRE, some Slim Jims. Now, the reason I don't have any pots and pans like that is because I actually have canned goods. And once you open these, you can cook in them, and you can use them to boil water and whatever else you need. And they last for a long time. So, all right, so canned goods, I'm going to take all my food out here. I have some oatmeal and rice and ramen noodles. I know they're terrible for you, but if you need the salt, it's there. Vitamin C, I recommend if you don't have one of these bags. This is something you really want to add to your kit because vitamin C is hard to come by. If you're in a situation you're having to live kind of off the land, vitamin C is hard to find in the wild as well as salt. So vitamin C and salt are two things that you really kind of want to have with you to augment your diet because, unless it's summertime and you have access to a vegetable garden, you really don't want to start depleting your vitamin C level and getting rickets and whatever else comes along with it. So now, the other advantage to having this nice little t-shirt bag, you can use it to filter water. These are actually extremely strong, and you can use them to carry firewood, whatever, if you're foraging, wild plants, whatever.
Wow.
The other thing, because it's light colored, you can also use it as a head covering. And you just kind of put it on like that and tie it around. And now you've got a head covering that's going to keep the sun off your head so you don't have to carry an extra hat and all that stuff. So lots of different uses.
Don't forget your eye patch when you wear that, okay?
Exactly. Got to be fashionable. So, all right, guys, you're going to laugh, but this is actually a car bra. Now, why do I have a car bra in my emergency kit?
Car bra.
A car bra. You can get these at dealerships. They use them, when they're bringing the cars out onto the lots to kind of protect the grill, keep it nice and shiny, keep the bugs out if they're taking them for a test drive. And a lot of times they'll give them away, so always kind of stop in and ask. Yeah. But the reason I have this is, number one, it's waterproof. It's extremely lightweight, and it's got grommets. You can use this as a shelter. You can use this as a cover for your pack to protect it from the rain. You can also, it's strong enough to use as a litter. So if you have somebody who's injured and you have to transport them, I mean, first of all, you don't really want to transport anybody who's injured, but in an emergency situation such as a fire or, you've got a gas leak or you have to evacuate, you can actually take some of that paracord, strap them onto this, and use it to drag them and get them the heck out of wherever you are. So lots of different uses. It folds up. If you don't really need it, it folds up into a nice little pillow and it's nice and soft. You got something to cushion your head too.
And so how do you get these now?
Just go to any dealership. You could probably find them online. Just type in car bra. And
That's cool.
and they're
That's awesome.
really cheap. You could probably get them for less than $20. So this one, I had a friend who worked at a dealership, and they literally had about 10 of them. They were just throwing them away because they were no longer carrying that car, and he was going to throw them away. I was like, well, can I have one? He goes, what the hell you want that for? I said, trust me. So there it is. Okay, so ladies, This next part is for you. Guys, just ignore this.
Feminine hygiene, fellers.
Feminine hygiene, very important. If you're in a situation for a week or more, chances are eventually at some point you're going to have your period. What I have here is some washable feminine hygiene. You can use these over and over again. They're not as comfortable as, the stuff that's on the market, but I'll tell you, they do work. And in an emergency, you're going to want, it's better than having nothing. And we'll do a workshop. I'll show you guys how to make these. They're super easy. But basically, it's just a little pad. Now the liners,
This is incredible.
they fold up so they're super absorbent. This is made from flannel. They open up so that they can dry very quickly. So if you have some paracord, you can set up a clothesline, hang them out to dry in the sun. It'll sanitize them. Sun actually acts as a antimicrobial, so it will sanitize them. And you just fold them up like that. You slip them in the liner, like so. Well,
Hold it up for everybody.
I'm doing it too fast.
You're fine.
But
I'm telling you, this is an amazing invention.
it just kind of goes like that, and it snaps over your underwear. So it's
I'm telling you, it's
because what
incredible.
happens is, and I've been through it. I've been through a number of natural disasters, which is how I came up with a lot of this stuff. And the one thing that people are always really desperate for are feminine hygiene and diapers. Now the other thing I wanted to mention, if you have an elderly parent or somebody that you're caring for, these can also be used as depends. These can also be used for incontinence as well. They are waterproof, so nothing's going to leak through onto your clothes. So really handy to have. You can also make washable nursing pads for nursing moms. Because you're not going to be able to buy the stuff. If something really, God forbid, really happens, there's a major disaster, the stores may not get trucks in for weeks, even months.
Yep.
So you're going to be on your own and having to provide the basic necessities for yourself and your loved ones. So having something that's reusable, that you don't have to worry about replacing, is really important. Same thing with diapers. They actually have patterns online. You can even buy the actual sewing patterns like at Walmart or Myers or Joann Fabrics to make washable diapers for babies, as well as nursing pads. And the nursing pads are just super simple. Take a cereal bowl that's about 6 inches across, trace it onto a piece of fabric, make a couple of layers. There's a PUL is a type of fabric that is, it's basically flannel-backed vinyl. And it's very lightweight and it's waterproof. You put that as a liner inside, kind of sew a little bit of a pad there, and you've got some nursing pads as well. So the PUL is also what you buy for the diapers, and it's great for this too. So it is a bit pricey. It's about $8 a yard, but a yard goes a really long way, and believe me, once you have it, you never have to replace it.
Yeah.
So really important.
Guys, she's actually making these to distribute into other countries, for Africa, things like this.
Yes, there's a program called, thank you, Tim.
Yes.
There's a program called Days for Girls. And what it is there's in a lot of other countries, we have it easy here in America, and I don't think we really realize how easy we have it. But in other countries, third world countries, there are women who do not have access to feminine hygiene at all. And there are young girls who are developing severe, debilitating infections because they're trying to put things inside them to keep the blood so that they can continue to go to school and have jobs to support their family. Because otherwise they are literally trapped in their home for a week out of every month, which is really contributing to poverty and to just everything from domestic abuse to just you name it. It's horrible. So the Days for Girls program was started. They created these feminine hygiene kits to make for these girls so that they have a constant supply of feminine hygiene so that they can go to school and get their jobs. And I'm getting goosebumps because it's just such an amazing feeling to know that you're helping somebody to gain their independence financially and just personally. So if you get a chance, look it up. It's daysforgirls.org. And if you can sew, or if you know somebody who can sew, if you can make a kit for one of these girls, it would just be such an amazing gift.
Ladies,
So-
we're going to have a program that we're going to offer them. We've already designated $150 that's going to go towards this, okay, to buy materials. And we're going to need your help to sew, and she can teach you everything to do. I'll even try, maybe bloody my fingers, I don't know, but I will try my best. But I'm telling you, this is a great cause. We actually have hooked up with our local minister, who is actually a Haiti representative, and he is very interested in this because this is something that doesn't happen in third world countries. So we can actually make a difference. So just to throw you an insight there. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm excited. I want to cry because I know how desperate some of these women and girls are, and
Yes.
just to have that is just, it's huge.
It's wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
a couple other items now. This is more of a luxury thing, but believe me when I tell you, when you're trapped in a survival situation for more than a week, the one thing, the biggest issue that comes up is morale. Boredom, the tediousness of just being stuck in an area, it can really get to you. The stress can get to you. So it's important that you do things to kind of keep your mind off of what's happening, to kind of relax, taking that time. If you know how to meditate, a 10-minute meditation can reduce your stress and really help just health-wise, because stress can really impact your health. We don't realize how bad it hurts us until we get really sick. So I actually have a deck of cards.
Here we go.
And this is great, especially if you get stuck in an area where people have small kids. There's nothing worse than having 10 kids screaming and yelling and carrying on. And if you can keep them occupied, believe me, it's a godsend. It's worth every penny.
A dual thing. They make playing cards now that'll show you edible leaves, plants, everything else. So you can actually have both. I mean, it's just two ways to go around. Yeah, it's really neat.
So just having something to do.
We'll get some in. We
I want one.
just got a couple minutes, so girl.
Okay,
Yep.
small towel, washcloth, and just some hygiene stuff. After a week, you're going to want this stuff. You're going to need it,
Yes.
and it's really is a luxury. But I spent a couple of months in the woods of Ontario one summer, and I will tell you that when I got home, that hot shower, that first hot shower that I'd had in 2 months, was the best hot shower I've ever had in my life. It was just amazing. It was like liquid gold. So it was the most amazing. Yeah. So, but that's about it. The only other thing is really good knife. This is my baby. I name my knives. You guys are gonna laugh, but this is Harriet. You can tell she's gotten lots of use, but it's really important to have a good, sturdy, sharp knife that can double as a tool, because you're just gonna need it. So I think that's it.
All right, guys, let's give Lisa a round of applause. I'm just going to take a couple more minutes. I'm going to let you guys go back and talk to our vendors again. Please do not leave without seeing them. They've been gracious enough to come out here today. Some came even from Columbus, all the way from there. So please check them out, Mike. You've got different bags up here, guys. You can check them out. Aaron's got some over there. One thing I did want to tell you about to look at, though, is when you're buying this stuff, you may want to look at the color, the contrast, things like this, more neutral colors. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You come out with a 511 3-day pack that's camouflage, they're going to know you got something in there you want to keep, okay? So I'm not against camouflage. You can see I've got some things here that are camo. Try to look at that as being more, you want to try to blend in. If you're going down the road, you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. So look at those things when you're buying something. Look at those avenues. Also, too, I never could understand why I would camo a knife or a gun. You're running through the woods and you drop your gun. Where's it at?
That is so
Never
true.
did make sense to me. I'm just honest. Now there may be other reasons. There's his 511 bag. It's
Nice.
it's just very plain. You want to think of these things. Okay, I think a camo gun is cool, but when you're in a hurry and you drop that sucker on the ground, especially a handgun, where's it at? Where's it at? I'm serious. You may think it, but it's true. So be careful. Think this stuff through. Be very cautious when you go through. Don't take our word for it. Try this stuff out. Go out, look at it. If it doesn't work, then switch on to the next thing. Because there's a lot of junk out there, but then there's a lot of great stuff. Okay? Also, too, I just wanted to tell you, this here is a tent. Sierra Designs. It is a little pricey, but this thing only weighs 5 pounds. 5 pounds.
It's very light.
It wraps up into a bag. Nope, that's not the one. I'm sorry. There it is. This big, that whole tent. Now it says it's a 3-person, but if you look at this body, it's a 2-person. Okay? Now don't get me wrong, my head touches and my feet touch because I'm 6'3". Sarge, you wouldn't be able to get in it. Well, maybe sideways. But I'm telling you, Kathy and I slept in it. We did a great job. These are some of the things you want to look at. You know, yes, roughing it with a poncho. Yeah, it's fine. You can do that. But man, it's sure going to make life really difficult. So there's other things that you can do. Okay? How many seen what happened in Georgia? How many seen what happened in Georgia? Did you see those people sleeping in superstores out of their cars? Folks, if you don't have a get-home bag, you're crazy. I'm just very honest with you. These people were sleeping overnight, had nowhere to go. Don't tell me that can't happen here. Now, we are used to the snow and stuff like that. But don't tell me that. That is something so simple. These people were unprepared, clueless. They had to take refuge in Walmart and all this kind of stuff because they couldn't get nowhere. There was a parking lot out there. It took them, 2 or 3 days? They were stuck there for 2 or 3 days. If you do not have something in your car that you take with you, I'm sorry. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. You guys really need to think about this stuff. But thank you very much. Now I do, like I said, we have these flyers to pass out. Please check your vendors. Please look at them, check them out. Guys, and the next meeting, oh yes, the next meeting, I have to tell you this. This was only a stop location. We're actually meeting at the FOP Lodge. I have the information over here, the FOP Lodge, the Dayton FOP. Sarge has made it available to us. He's gotten us in for all year, guys. Now, there's 2 things.
Huber Heights.
Huber Heights, yes, it is in Huber Heights. It's going to be, so those who are coming further will be a little closer. Now, the bad news. We are going to have an admission fee now. This is going to cost us $175 per month. The admission fee will be $3 a person or $5 for a couple or family. Real cheap. Do you think that's too much? Okay. $3 a person or $5 for a couple or a family. And please, if your kids are over 18, they still have to pay $3. Okay? Yeah. But I'm just letting you know this because we have to cover the cost. All this has been done free of charge. Gander Mountain actually let us have that room for free, but we've outgrown it. And the church has let us have this. Thank you, Living Word, for letting us have this location for this week. But, so just remember that. It is on the flyers. You can grab multiple flyers if you want to take some. We have a bunch of other literature over there if you haven't grabbed any. But guys, please feel free to congregate. We love to have you tonight. Thank you very much.
Variety of different bags. This is what I would call a get-home bag. Slips on your shoulder. Has many little pockets on it. Let me set this down. The very first pocket is kind of small, but it's nice to have like a little small first aid kit or something in it. Second pocket is what I call an organization pocket for your important documents or different things that you'd want to have. You have a bigger pocket here that again has many different little webbing inside that you can store stuff in. And you can even place a sidearm inside of there. You have your MOLLE backups on each side that you can attach different type of clip holders or extra little bags to. If you don't want to wear it on your side, it can turn around. You can wear it directly on your back. Second thing I have, it's called a wind-up radio. Turn this thing for about 3 minutes, and it'll power the flashlight for about 15 minutes. You have a nice flashlight on top. Also, if you want, it has a siren. Click it off, turn it on, pulls out into a little radio. You can get FM, AM radio.
Wow.
It has a USB port on the side that, let me turn that off, that plugs into, and you can run that plug into your cell phone. You can crank and charge your cell phone up, because most areas in a disaster, your power's down, You have no way to be able to charge your cell phones, so that kind of keeps you running.
That's awesome.
And I have Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, packs of different types, just general purpose survival kits.
All right, guys, let's give him a round of applause. This gentleman here, how can we say it? He has a special, what's that, special needs? No, that's my class. No, I should say a very unique, yes, unique. They started with Shooter's Paradise. They had a brick and mortar store in Troy. I don't know how many have been there. Very nice store. Well, they decided to go more training. I'll let him talk about it a little bit more, but it is awesome what they're offering. When you guys see, especially CCW, my two that are not here tonight, they've definitely committed to going to the CCW class, and I know a lot of you guys here have asked about it too, so I'll let you explain. Introduce yourself.
My name is John Workman. I'm with Shooter's Paradise out of Troy, Ohio. As I said, I used to have a brick and mortar store. Long story short, I had a heart attack last year. Health kind of went downhill. The e-store we have and our training was supporting the brick and mortar store. I don't like pulling money out of different venues to support something else, but anyways, I ended up shutting it down. But our training pretty much starts with CCW. We have 3 levels of advanced pistol courses. We have 3 levels of carbine. We have a tactical shotgun. We have a 2-level advanced long-distance precision shooting course. Yeah. Starts at 100 yards, and then our level 2 is actually go to a range. You shoot 1,028 yards. I should have, or rather, the ability to shoot 1,028 yards. We do monadnock training. We do pepper spray training.
What's monadnock?
Monadnock, I actually have it on my table back there. If you stop by, I can show it to you. Something you add in your keys. It's a great tool for close quarter for in a room like this. And Tim was assault me. I can actually get away. You can break bones, nerves. It's a great, great tool. We teach a women's self-defense course. All of our instructors have 86 years of combined experience in action instructing. Our guys go all the way down to me, which is the least experience. Guys that spent past 28, 30 years in military special forces. They actually go to different military bases and actually teach military. Some guys' background goes so deep that they won't even tell me their whole life story. So great range of guys. We do a survival training course as well. We're also developing an urban survival training course as well, and a ghost urban survival course. What that is, Josh, you'll see him on a video back there at our table. He's actually a SWAT commander for Ohio State Patrol. He used to be an Army Ranger sniper. He actually used to go in and gather intel and get out without being noticed. He'll teach you how to go through a city if something was to happen, or go through a place or pretty much just disappear in your environment. So we got a lot of training courses coming up. If it's something you're interested in, you'd like to see us to evolve, we can do that. We have force on force training coming up as well. Airsoft, we'll be getting into simunitions as well. I'm actually one of the guinea pigs for Ohio State Patrol and our simunitions. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So come back to see me. We have an e-store with 70,000 products on it. I am an FFL dealer, so I can get you any firearm that you want as long as they have it in stock. Ammunition, tell you what I tell everyone else, good luck. It's a hot commodity right now. So if you got any questions, come back and see me.
Guys, come on. I know Mike very well. I forget your name.
I'm the short, ugly guy.
No. These guys are brothers if you can't tell. All right?
My brother Brian. I'm the speaker.
Okay.
So, we're Mike and Brian Roberts. We're
come on
with
over here.
BeReadyForAnything.com. We, former military, both of us. We have the same mindset that all you guys have. We believe in self-reliance. We believe in good Christian attitudes, because we know during bad times we have to take care of other people. And what we like to do is share the knowledge, because we feel knowledge is power. The more people with knowledge, the better it's going to be for everybody. So the kind of stuff that we kind of carry stuff that's going to help you along with that self-reliance. We sell fire and water, and also medical. So we know fire and water is very important. We carry a couple systems in the back. Berkey's are our big seller. Without clean water, you're in trouble. You look at third world countries, what do people die from? Dirty water. People are urinating and pooping in the water system. You're drinking that. You're getting diseases, all kinds of stuff. Clean water you can't live without. So we have different systems back here. As you see, we got the Berkey Sport bottle. What we like to tell people about this, they're like, well, what about the Life Straw? Okay, so how are you going to carry your water? At least with something like this, you go to any water source, dip it in to the water. You have your filter right here. This filter is the replaceable filter. It's good for 160 refills of this bottle minimum. The cleaner the water you put in, the longer it's going to last. So not only do you have that, you have a container to carry it in. To use it, just pop it open like that. You can clean, start sucking the water out. Clean, purified water. Very important. We also sell medical gear. As you see, we have got the individual first aid kit, or otherwise known as the IFAC kit. Includes different bandages in here, gauze, nasopharyngeal tube to help open up your airway. Tourniquets. Don't go anywhere without a tourniquet. You never know. You look at what happened in Boston. The one lady who got injured.
Yes.
A gentleman had a tourniquet with him.
Two people, or
Yeah.
a guy in the crowd had 2 tourniquets on her, and that's the reason she's alive today. Somebody close by was ready. We talk about being prepared. It's a mindset. The more knowledge you have, the less gadgets you need. But some things really can help out, like the Israeli bandages, for instance. And like Brian said, we believe that the more people are ready, the better off everybody is. And we've been preaching that for as long as we've been doing this. And very excited about this group.
Now, I want to tell you, when you guys see this, I have some fire strikers here. Nothing compares to this when they're getting ready to show you.
It's our main bread and butter. It's our fire starter. Nice little system here. I'll do a full demo for you in the back if you'd like. Very different.
Pick them up, yep.
So when you look at this, the handle alone makes ease of use night and day. You're not having to hold on to this device down here, shave, strike. It's going to work. How hard do you want to do it? When you're cold, your hands are shaking, the handle alone makes it night and day.
Yeah.
3 benefits. So you have the handle for ease of use, it floats in water, and you also have built-in fuel in the handle. If you ever need to shave off wood to add to your fire, it's right there. The top rod. This is an engineered piece of flint. We call it a ferrocerium rod. As you see, this one's been used. This is made specifically, I don't want to hit you. As you can see, it's going to shoot out that shower of sparks. The magnesium. Yeah, we don't want to start a fire. We're very lucky to be in the building, so.
Okay,
99% pure magnesium. That's what differs from the
I got to
bars.
show them the difference. You guys got spoiled seeing the first one. Look at this.
So I mean, it's going to come off.
Yep, nothing even quotes.
But we could show you the difference in the magnesium
Yep.
too. It's going to burn at 5,000 degrees, which is hotter than lava, and you can pretty much set water on fire with it. So, but we appreciate everybody being here. We appreciate you for holding the event, and if you have any questions, come back and see us.
All right, guys. I do have some good news too. Mike has actually come to us and said, hey, can we partner along with you? They live in Columbus, so we're actually starting a sister group in Columbus. Is that awesome? We got some good things coming up. He was just telling me about it. He's found some stuff too. Now, I have a special, how should I say, introduction. This guy here is very dear to me. I've known John for maybe only 6 months. Now, I've known him longer than that, but at the gun shows, but we really became friends. He kind of adopted me in this realm. When I began to think about doing this group, I was just looking for people that I could trust, people that would invest in me. And John, I met him in a gun show. He grabbed a hold of me real fast. He says, I believe in what you're doing. He says, how can I help? That's the greatest words I ever hear every time. How can I help? John has made available his warehouse. He has a full warehouse, a business, that he's storing all our buckets and barrels for nothing. For nothing. This is how much he believes in us. Okay? This guy has introduced me to hundreds of people that are pouring into this group here. So I want to bring it up. John Grove, come on up, buddy. Come on.
My name's John Grove. I'm with Practical to Tactical, located here in Dayton.
I'm gonna have you stand over here, bro.
One of the things that I specialize in is a variety of high-end flashlights. In today's environment, we all have the little Rayovacs and things that typically don't work in harsh conditions. They use alkaline batteries. Normally, if you leave it out in the cold, they'll die out on you. Today, everything has gone to the lithium batteries powered by the 123s. They have multiple modes, and the big thing is they have a self-protection mode, a strobe. When you're looking at lights, you want to consider how do you want to carry it, how do you want to use it, and buy something that works for the need that you have, whether it be out on property, carry it personally on your body. This light has a mode, 700 hours this will run in the low mode. Multiple stages, and we can see we get into strobe modes for self-defense along with all the other issues. From there you can go up into larger lights that shine out as far as 800 yards. Again, the same kind of thing, very bright with the self-protection mode of the strobe. This is designed if you have large property where you want to look out at the fence line, the gate, whatever. Everything is waterproof, shockproof, and these carry a lifetime warranty. Wow. So with lithium batteries, you have a 10-year shelf life. They don't corrode and leak acid, so you've got all the advantage. If you don't use it, when you do pick it up, it'll be there for you. Some of the new ones we've come up with now are 960 lumens, but it does have a recharging port, so it's rechargeable, number one, off a 110 or 12 volt. It also has a USB port, so you can go back and charge your phone. Communication is very critical, so you can actually get 5 charges of a completely dead cell phone off of this light and still have 50% power left. So a lot of new things coming out. I also carry paracord. Paracord is very useful in a lot of applications. It comes in the basic colors, the blacks, the camos, and so forth. Also the very bright colors. Can be used for tourniquets, splints, tying things down, pulling food up in a tree so that it's protected from the animals, tent covers or tarps and so forth, lashing things down. Bright colors designed so you may not trip over it in a campsite environment, dark colors just for the tactical look. You can make lanyards, bracelets, and a lot of different things that contain cord. In an average bracelet like this, there's 7 to 9 feet of cord. So if you're wearing just the basic bracelet, you need to unweave it, you'll end up with 8 to 9 feet of cord. So it comes in different thicknesses, again, depending on what you want to do, the finer cords, depending on the kind of lashing you want to use.
All right, guys.
Also, my name is Tim Sanford. I'm with Miami Valley Preparedness Network. We want to thank you for watching on YouTube today. We're actually offering classes the second Sunday of every month, and we're actually from 4 to 5:30. We want to thank you for attending today and hope you enjoy the show. God bless America. Long live the Republic.